few days ago, I was invited by Tomasz Ogula from Zeta Zero to listen to his unique omnidirectional speakers in Warsaw, Poland. Tomasz is an electronics engineer with 50 years of experience in speaker design, who also runs professional recording studios for over 30 years. I was listening with Tidal, Lexicon surround processor, and two amplifiers, his own Class D monoblocks with over 1000 watts per channel, and Yaquin tube amplifier with, I believe, around 30 watts per channel, and that was enough power. So, how was the sound of these speakers? So, they cast a huge soundstage, as you can expect from omnidirectional dispersion. Uh, and this draws me inside the music more than with other types of speakers. That's for sure. Sound envelops you and has this grand scale characteristic. I played Paul Simon, Enya, Pink Floyd, Celine Dion, That Can Dance, among many others. What struck me the most was very direct and pure experience of both female and male vocals, which were presented with fullness, boldness, presence, and realistic scale. Not overblown in size, absolutely not thin sounding. Rich, full, tunefully blended with lows and highs, and with proper body and weight. Proper reproduction of vocals is very important for me. Uh, so that's why if a speaker is able to reproduce vocals in the right way, that's a huge plus for me. Next quality which was evident on every recording is naturalness. Perhaps due to, again, omnidirectional dispersion in entire frequency range, instruments sounded real. My ears are sensitive to harshness, edginess, lack of balance between frequencies. Slow, muddy, or overwhelming low frequencies can also mess with my music enjoyment. With orbital speakers, however, I could not detect any of these things. There was absolute zero listening fatigue in highs or sense of unnatural bass. All frequency ranges can be characterized as fast sounding, blended together in one coherent flow of music. I want to be able to enjoy my favorite music for 5, 7, or even 10 hours with no listening fatigue at all. If a speaker is in any way tiring, it's not acceptable, at least for me. I can definitely say that Zeta Zeros pass my requirement. I'm perhaps not the most demanding listener when it comes to dynamic range, and I don't listen with 100 dB or more sound pressure levels. However, to my ears, there was nothing lacking in dynamics department. The sound was engaging, alive, open, fast, with not the slightest strain when turning up the volume. The orbital line of Zeta Zeros is able to withstand 500 to 2500 watts of power depending on the model. With over 90 dB of sensitivity, they have no issues to fill the room with undistorted sound. Speakers were playing in around 900 square feet room. What also separates these speakers from most others is that sweet spot extends into basically entire room. You can walk around the room and you hear basically the same soundstage. Any downsides? There were very brief moments of very loud playback when I could detect a reverb. This again is due to their dispersion, but also due to total absence of any room treatment. Two-way or single driver speakers often cannot handle complex or rock music properly due to limitations in frequency response or intermodulation distortion. Not the case with orbital speakers, as they are four-way design, where each driver is responsible to reproduce specific frequency range. The size of these speakers, What can come as a surprise is how slim or even small these speakers appear in relation to the scale of sound they generate. Each orbital column can be disassembled into two pieces in under 20 seconds and can be transported in even the smallest car by a single person. They are beautiful to look at, elegant, unobstructive, and go with many interior styles. These speakers are sonical tour de force. There is nothing lacking in their sound, and there is nothing too much. Now let's talk about technical aspects of this speaker line. Orbitals meet several technical objectives I find important in speaker design. First of all, sound dispersion. It's omnidirectional in all frequencies, not just high frequencies. So sound is uniform. While some other speaker models from other brands have a directional character, and they can also sound great and have a big soundstage. However, it's not exactly the same experience. The tweeter, it's a ribbon tweeter, actually an array of many ribbon tweeters. And this type of tweeter is, from the technical point of view, is the best type of driver for high frequencies due to very low mass and less parts than with other tweeters like soft domes, metal domes, or compression drivers. Orbitals use not only one or two or three, but several single ribbon drivers per column. This way, it multiplies power handling and gives less distortion at higher volumes. The bass section, the woofer in these speakers has 9 centimeters of X-max, which is extremely high. So the membrane movement is 9 centimeters, which is 90 millimeters. And the reference model has even a larger subwoofer driver with 11 centimeters of X-max. So they move a lot of air with ease. The subwoofer driver is wired without a crossover, which is rather unique. And we know that, of course, crossover can hurt. Passive crossover can hurt damping factor and impulse control. Bus cabinet is tubus shaped. There are no parallel walls inside, which means zero cabinet standing waves or diffraction due to sharp edges. So bass waves, sound waves, leave orbital cabinets in all directions, which is the most natural way. Drivers are protected automatically from damage. All drivers in these models have automatic protection before they can be damaged by distorted signal. Also, each driver is cooled to protect them from heat stress. What else? There is also an option to use both speaker wires, but also to play the speakers without wires. And I think this is perhaps the only speaker model on the market today with such capability, or let's say optionality. Now let's talk about the designer himself. During my long visit, I was not only listening to orbital speakers, but also to the designer himself. His technical knowledge of speaker design can only be called exceptional. From the complex topic of loudspeaker distortion, cables skin effect, and load, damping factor, room acoustics, physical properties of various types of drivers, materials including stones, woods, steel, exotic composites, to topologies of amplifiers and details of crossover networks, Tomasz is a full range engineer. We even talked about Riemann hypothesis, unreal patterns of Stanisław Ulam's spirals. He was a Polish mathematician, and very recent developments of artificial intelligence used in sound post production. How can I summarize my visit? A mixture of majestic, spacious sound, Toma's passion for music, science, audio equipment, saturated in homey, natural listening environment. I think my visit was unforgettable. It sets the bar for what I can call a reference audio experience.